Well, hello. This is my first video as an art teacher on YouTube. Um, and I thought I would show a speed drawing while I talk about why I became an art teacher. I think all of us have had that feeling that we're being judged or something, so if you've ever been self-conscious about anything, you'll love this story. Okay, so first of all, I have to apologize for the cut on my thumb. It looks so awful. I cut myself this morning. So anyway, hope it doesn't gross you out. I should have put a band-aid on it, I guess, before I made this video. The drawing I'm doing is of, I think it's pronounced the Hereford Lighthouse. I drove down last weekend and took some photographs. It was about 11 in the afternoon. And so I knew the sunlight was going to be good this day. I didn't want an overcast day because drawings, to me, I love drawing light and how the shadows are. And that's why I draw from a photograph, because if you try to sit there and draw it, the shadows are going to change on you. I guess you could sketch the whole thing out, and then do your shadows and light, but I prefer drawing from a picture, maybe because I am self-conscious and I wouldn't be able to stand someone looking at me while I drew outside in the real world. Okay, so why did I become an art teacher? When I was home at the age of 3, 4, 5, I just loved drawing and I loved making art. So when I started kindergarten, and I found out on my first day of school that we were going to go to something called art class, I was super excited and I loved making art. So I really couldn't wait for this class. Like, I was nervous about school. My mom waited in the hallway at kindergarten until I spoke to someone, and because she was nervous about me not being able to make friends because I was so shy and quiet. So my mom waited in the hallway, peeking in the door, I guess, and she finally saw that someone sat next to me and started talking. So she felt comfortable and left, and here I am, all scared about school, until my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Kennedy, tells us that we are going to go to art class. Wow, how exciting. So we go down the hallway, probably in single file, I don't remember. We go into the art room and we sit at stools that are way too big for us. We were 4 at a table. And I remember the smell, this great smell the art room had, probably of tempera paint or construction paper or something. But whatever it was, I loved the atmosphere and I couldn't wait to make art. So she showed us the teacher, and I use that term lightly. Her name was Mrs. Salata. And I hope someone shares this video with her if she remembers it. Or, I mean, if someone can find her and share this with her. It was Rensselaer Park Elementary School, 1977 or 76, with Miss Salata. Yes, I'm showing my age. I am a 46-year-old art teacher. I just started my first year teaching, and I'm discussing why. As you watch my speed drawing. Where was I? See, I'm drinking a glass of wine, and I'm on my second glass, so I'm like probably all over the place with my words. So where was I? Walking into the art room. So this art teacher, and again I use the term light loosely, um, she showed us the art we were going to make, and we were going to make autumn trees. And we were going to make autumn trees by crumpling up red tissue paper and yellow tissue paper and orange tissue paper. And I believe we might have drawn a tree out with brown crayon, or maybe brown paint. I don't know. But we drew the stump out, the tree trunk, and then the leaves. She showed us how to tear the tissue paper and crumple it up in a ball and then glue it down to the paper to make this three-dimensional tree. Well, when I was ripping the tissue paper, I loved that it was making like this torn edge, and I ripped it small so it looked like the shape of a leaf with this beautiful torn, deckled edge. Excuse me while I take a sip of wine. And maybe this art teacher is why I'm drinking wine. No, just kidding. I'm really not an alcoholic or anything. I'm just having a second glass of wine tonight for some reason. Okay, so anyway, I loved how these leaves were coming out. And I couldn't wait for Mrs. Salata to come to my table and see this different way of making this tree that I was doing, because all of the other kids were following her direction and making the crumpled up tissue paper and gluing it down. Actually, it was paste. It was that yummy, yummy smelling paste that we applied with, I think we used popsicle sticks or maybe the wooden spoons that come with Italian ice. So anyway, I'm waiting for her to get to my table, and the suspense is killing me. I cannot wait to show her my tree. And I had this whole pile of beautiful autumn leaves that I so carefully torn, and it was taking so much time. And some leaves I was gluing to the tree. Some leaves I was pasting on the ground, because in the autumn the ground is covered with different color leaves. And a few leaves I even pasted down to the sky, and they were gently falling to the ground. And I was loving this artwork. So here comes the teacher. She comes over to me, Mrs. Salata, and sees my pile of beautiful leaves. And instead of being wowed by my artwork, not that I was looking to wow her, I was just so excited about it. And I was excited to show her what I created. Well, she walks over. She looks at my pile of torn tissue paper leaves, and in one motion, she scoops them up in her hands and says, "You're doing it wrong." But no, 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 no. It was more like this: "You're doing it wrong." And she, in one fell swoop, scoops up my leaves, crumples them up, and puts them back down, and says, "This is what you need to do." Holy crap. My heart was broken. My mind was broken. "You're doing it wrong." And I felt sick to my stomach. And not only did I want to leave the room, I wanted to leave the school. I never wanted to go back to that school again, nevertheless art class. It killed me. But I didn't let it bother me for long. Even at 5 years old, actually, I was 4 years old. I started kindergarten early because I have a September birthday. So I was 4 years old and this woman did this to me. And I knew that day that I was going to be an art teacher. She was not an art teacher. She was someone who was setting rules and setting limits and desired children to comply. I was going to be an art teacher that inspired creativity. I knew when I grew up, I wouldn't make kids feel like I felt that day. It was so wrong. Children need to create whatever their mind wants them to create. Whatever idea is in your mind is awesome. And everyone should have an opportunity to see what is in your mind. And by creating art, you're processing something in your mind and it's outputting out of your hands and you're creating, and that is beautiful. And don't let anyone ever tell you you're doing it wrong. And if they are saying you're doing it wrong, please know and please remember this story. You're not doing it wrong. You're only doing it different than what they expected. You are a creator, you are an artist, and you are amazing. And I can't wait to see what you create, whatever that is. Please subscribe to my videos and put it in your comments below. Please show me in your comments or talk about your experience and how your art teacher tried to ruin you, but you are a survivor and you are an artist. Please tell me what you have created. Thank you for listening to my story. I haven't blended any of this drawing yet. I'm going to make a completely new video using different blending tools to blend different areas of this lighthouse. And I hope you've enjoyed my story. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. And I really hope you will subscribe and listen to my videos that will always be about art teacher problems during my speed drawings. I think that's where I'm going with this. Thank you so much. And I only have like 30 seconds left, so I'll just talk about what I'm doing in the speed drawing. I'm just darkening in. Drawing is not about the outlines. You can't outline things. It's the values. Look at all the different values of gray I have going on here. I'm not outlining that column. I'm darkening the values around it, and that's what makes the column.